Hi, I'm Jess, Bright Trip contributor and founder of Love in London, and I help people to visit London like they live here via my YouTube channel. In January of 1863, the first underground train left Paddington Station and traveled 3.5 miles. It was the first underground train in the world, and it was the beginning of London's vast subway system, which is officially called the Underground, but also nicknamed the Tube. Today, the Tube is one of the best transportation systems in the world. It's smooth, it's clean, it's generally on time, and it's pretty easy to navigate considering how big London is. You can get a glimpse of the entire underground network by looking at this. It's likely you've come across the very iconic London Tube map, and if it looks confusing as heck to you, don't worry. It's actually super simple once you know a few key things. First off, you don't in any way need to memorize or really study the detail of this map, because in almost every instance, you'll be using a smartphone app that gives you really clear instructions on what train you should be taking. That being said, we should go over a few concepts about the Tube system so you are at least familiar. On some maps, you'll notice these gray and white sections and numbers in them. These are called zones, and this is how your Oyster card knows how much to charge you for a trip, because the more zones that you travel through to get from point A to point B, the more that you're going to pay. Don't worry, you don't need to pay attention to this too much because it's all calculated automatically on your Oyster card. All you need to know is that the further you travel, meaning the more zones you cross through, the more expensive your journey will be. Each line has its own color and name. We always call it by its name, like the Northern Line, but the color is used on the map. You can think about the lines by color if you'd like, but because there are a couple of variations of blue for different lines, it gets confusing, and therefore it's best to always talk about the names over the colors, like, how do I get to the Northern Line? So let's talk about a few useful symbols on this map. If you see this sign, it means that station also has overground trains that go outside of the city and to the rest of the country. When you're looking at a map like this that shows just one line, in which you'll find on tube cars and in most stations, there are a couple things to note. When you see this, it means that in this station, you can change to these other lines. When you see this, where it's not just one straight line, it means that this line splits off at some points. Let me show you what I mean. Let's say you're getting on at Clapham North Station and want to go to Old Street up here. But do you see that the Northern Line splits off right here at Kennington? They are both northbound, but one goes this way through Charing Cross, and the other goes over here through London Bridge and Bank stations. These are called different branches of the same line. And the key word that you're looking for to indicate different branches is via, meaning by way of or passing through. So back to our example. If you're in the Clapham North Station and you follow the signs to get on a northbound train, you'll see two options. One, the northbound train via Bank, which would be this branch, and the northbound train via Charing Cross, which is this branch. If you're trying to get to Old Street, then you'd want the northbound train via Bank. As always, your phone will tell you all of this using that same word via to tell you which train to get on. And of course, if you get confused while waiting on the platform, ask a Tube staff member or just a Londoner, and they'll usually be absolutely willing to help you. Finally, each map shows clearly which stations are step-free in case you have a lot of bags or are unable to take stairs. Just look at the key to see what each symbol means. Right now we are in Waterloo, very close to Waterloo Station, which has 3 tube lines that runs through it. And I want to get to King's Cross. So I'm going to be pulling out my phone to check out Citymapper to see what my options are for routes to get up to King's Cross. By the way, Citymapper is really good because it lets you save routes. So if you're not going to have Wi-Fi or data while you're on the underground, you can still see the route that you need to go. You can also use Google Maps. It works in pretty much the same way. You're just going to put in your destination and click this over here, and you will get the routes that are available to you. Today, I'm going to use Citymapper, so let's put in Waterloo as my starting point and King's Cross as the destination. This is giving me a few options. I'll choose the one that's the shortest length, and it looks like I'm going to need to transfer one time, and it wants me to get on the Bakerloo line going northbound to a station called Oxford Circus, where I'll get off and then I'll jump on the Victoria line, also going northbound. Seems easy enough. You can see the route either as a map like this or as a list of steps. So first we need to walk to Waterloo Tube Station, which I can navigate to using Citymapper. Okay, now we're at Waterloo Station. I'll follow the signs directing to the Bakerloo line, and once I get there, I'll tap my Oyster card at the barriers to get down to the platform. We're going to this platform because it's going northbound and has the station we want to get to, which is Oxford Circus, which this sign also shows us. Once you're on the train and you're going the right direction, you can check your app again. It will tell you how many stops you need to go, and in this case, I'm going 4 stops and then getting off at Oxford Circus Station. If you lose count of your stops, don't worry, the stops are announced right before you pull into the station. You'll also see a lot of signage that tells the name of the station as you're arriving. I look outside the train window until I see that we have arrived to Oxford Circus. Okay, now the app is telling me I need to get to the Victoria line heading northbound. So I look for the signs on the platform pointing me to that line. Okay, so I'm heading to King's Cross, so I make sure I find the right platform to head in that direction, and then I just wait again. Same deal as before, the app tells me it's just 3 stops this time, but I can also listen to the announcement or look out the window for King's Cross. Once I'm there, I get off and follow signs to an exit which say way out. Right before I do exit, I hit a ticket barrier, so I'll tap my Oyster card on the yellow card reader to complete my journey. And we've made it to King's Cross. The journey took just over 20 minutes and it cost £2.40. The tube is super well signed, so with that and also the help of Citymapper or Google Maps, then you will find it very easy once you do a journey once or twice to get around the city, I promise.